Hey, and at the end of the day, I just want you all to remember if there was anybody that was going to replace Zach Magic Edwards, is this guy, Jalen Henderson. It just got real.
We doing everything they talk about. You know I'm everything.
Stop it. Let's cut it out. Let's cut the intro short. Let's get right to it. Obviously, Athletes Phone Podcast. Drop a comment, like the video, share with a friend, subscribe, do all the good stuff. All right. Let's get to the breaking news and the big reaction and something that we didn't see coming. We definitely didn't see coming. The caliber of this player that is about to join the ELF is top notch, and something that a lot of people maybe have been wanting for a while, and it's finally happened. And that's right. Jalen Henderson, top quarterback in the GFL past couple years, is coming to the ELF. Not only is he coming to the ELF, he is coming to play for the Paris Musketeers. Breaking news, and something that we definitely have to talk about. How do we get here? What's the impact? Who is Jalen Henderson? What does it look like for the league? Let's not waste no time. Let's talk about it. So how do we get here? So obviously everything had happened with Paris. Zach not coming back. They need a quarterback to replace him, right? Heard a couple rumors, heard some names that were trickling around, but ultimately it came down to this guy, Jalen Henderson, quarterback for the Potsdam Royals in the GFL last couple of years, is now coming to the best league in Europe to play for the Paris Musketeers. This is a huge signing and something that as fans, as media members, we need, because everyone always talks about competitive balance. These games are blowouts or the competition. Well, Paris is bringing in someone, and not to say that they were a bad team or whatever in that discussion, but with the way the schedules were set, with the way the teams are being formed, with the quarterback class that we currently have, this is a huge signing. Who is Jalen Henderson? Well, let's talk about it. I had Jalen Henderson on the podcast a couple weeks ago just to chop it up with him, and I asked him, would he ever consider joining or coming to the ELF? And this is what he said.
Your thoughts on the ELF and what it's been so far?
Yeah, man. I think it's a great league. I think, this year with all the movement that's been happening, it'll be a lot more competitive.
Would you ever consider, or what would it take for you to possibly play in what is now considered the best league in Europe?
If the right opportunity came at the right time, definitely don't think it would be something I would not be interested in. Being in the right situation is huge for me.
Yeah, and little did we know we would get to this point where now he has officially signed with the Paris Musketeers. The hype is real. The talk is warranted. This guy is a talented guy, and the stats speak for himself. But even if you're not a numbers guy, just watch his film. Watch his film. Let me just give you some numbers so you kind of understand the person that's coming into the ELF and coming to play for the Paris Musketeers. Two-time GFL champ with the Potsdam Royals. In 2023, threw for 4,036 passing yards, 49 passing touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 15 rushing. All right. That's a great showing. He also has experience playing in Japan in the X League. And then now obviously playing in the GFL. And for those who don't know, before the ELF came into play since 2001, GFL was known as probably the top league in Europe. So all the best talent, all the local talent, most of them went to the GFL. There's some other good leagues too, but the GFL was known as the league. Now it's the ELF. All right. So if 2023 wasn't good enough, he encored it up in 2024, throwing for 5,202 yards, 77 passing touchdowns. I'll let that sink in for a little bit. 77 passing touchdowns to 5 interceptions, and ran for an additional 14. Obviously, he's a dual threat guy, but someone who could do it through the air. All right. Just so you know, and it's not a fluke, he's had a couple 8 touchdown games, 7 touchdown games, 6 touchdown games. He has a 110 touchdown game performance and an 11 touchdown game performance. Now, say what you want. Does that speak to the competition he played? Whatever. Anywho, he's done it enough for me to say that's still impressive. All right. And there's no denying that. Regardless of who he's doing it against, the amount of times he's put up those type of performances is still impressive. It's something that we can't necessarily take lightly. This is a guy that's been heavily recruited, heavily sought after. I've heard some other teams that would go after him. I personally thought maybe Berlin would go after him last year before they brought back Jacob Sullivan. Obviously Potsdam right in that same territory would have been a huge grab for Berlin. Needless to say, it didn't happen. Whatever. Paris ends up pulling the trigger, finding a way to get this done. There were rumors once he was done and announced, and Potsdam announced that they would be, going their separate ways, not really him returning. And I don't think it was due to bad blood. I just think they were ready for different opportunities. Where would he go? Would he go back to Japan? Would he go ELF? Those rumors were circling. And if you follow his page, you saw a couple maybe opportunities maybe that he was going elsewhere. But needless to say, big news has dropped today. Paris Musketeers signed quarterback Jalen Henderson. If you're Paris, if you're coaching staff, teammates, you should be happy about this. If you're the Red Company, you should be happy about this. Jack Del Rio, huge big signing coming into the league, especially ELF your first year. You get one of the top quarterbacks, not necessarily that's going to be in the ELF, but in all of Europe. That's a huge recruiting grab. Luke Del Rio, got to be excited about this, right? For the team that they put together, for the guys that are bringing back. You even look on offense. Obviously, Lewis Thomas has resigned. You get Austin Mitchell that's resigned. Hopefully, they bring back Takadam, LaRose, or Bertolin. Those would be good complementary pieces that Jalen could work with. And I think someone like Jalen amps up the recruiting and even proves that, like, hey, we're still going after it. If I'm the Paris organization, if I'm the Paris team, right? They're still going after it, despite everything that's happened. With Zach and Mark and going their separate ways and not out of bad blood, just looking for different opportunities. I've said in my Paris episode, this is a huge pivotal year for Paris because your first year 6-6, second year you get to the semis, and it's hard to follow that up, but you can't take a huge step back. And, we always talk about competitive games. Well, just look at their schedule, right? They got the Fire. They got the Surge. They play Vienna. They got obviously in their conference, they're going to have Frankfurt. They're going to have, Cologne and stuff like that. There are some great quarterback matchups that we are about to embark on. And that week one game just got a little interesting. Jack Del Rio, Jim Tomsula, Chad Jeffries, Jalen Henderson, the champs playing, the team that lost in the semis in Paris Musketeers, former conference foes. The only losses Paris had last year were to the Fire, and obviously what happened in the semis. That week one game just got a little bit more interesting. So, listen, breaking news, huge news. Quarterback Jalen Henderson is coming to the ELF. He is playing for the Paris Musketeers. And it just got interesting. And you look at this quarterback class, a lot of talent, a lot of veteran talent, some new guys that are trickled in. But just so we all know, at the end of the day, this is still Jadrian Clark's league. 3 appearances to the ELF championship game, won 2 of them. This is his league until someone takes it off his throne. Is Jalen Henderson the guy? We'll see. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Subscribe to the channel. We're keeping content rolling. Got a lot of stuff coming up along the way. But yeah, this is the locker room. So chime in, drop a comment, like the video, share for a friend. Most importantly, join and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.